Let's get more reaction to what's happened over the last 24 hours in relation to the weather. We're joined in studio by Dr. Elias Sithole, head of Gauteng Provincial Disaster Management. Dr. Sithole, thank you so much for coming in. Lovely to have you with us. It's a very worrying situation that has developed in all sorts of ways all over the city and the province at this point. What for you are the priorities in terms of solving the problems on the roads, in suburbs and the like today?
Yeah. Our priorities right now is to make sure that the communities are safe, and also is to make sure that we advise the motorist not to use the road which has been closed or road which has been flooded, and then also the communities to work with our structures in the municipalities so that they can be speedily assistance. So from our side, it's just to make sure that anybody who doesn't have a shelter on their roofs, actually they get a shelter, so we can actually accommodate them into the community halls or to the tents.
Let's just speak for a moment about the issue of motorists driving through areas they're not supposed to, and people essentially entering dangerous areas that are compromised at this point. Speaking to Edna Mamanyane of the JMPD earlier, she said that the police had really struggled to get people to cooperate with them. There were bridges that were closed, people were still crossing them, putting their lives at risk, putting the lives of other drivers at risk too. What can be done to ensure that people actually do stick to the rules?
Look, we always urge to the drivers to say, we know that they are rushing to go back to their homes after long days at work, but when you see that the bridges is flooded, respect the rules of the roads, and then respect the metropolis in terms of the advice or the road closure. Take the alternative routes so that you can be safe. Some of the people, they will say, well, I'm driving 4x4, I can cross over the bridge. But unfortunately, because we know the water sometimes is strong, then the water can wash away your car. So we always say they don't take the risk, so try to take the alternative route.
Give us a sense of how well prepared you were for what has unfolded in the province over the last couple of days.
Yeah. Always when we are approaching summer season, we develop the contingency plans, especially focusing on floods, and then also we run the awareness campaigns, especially in the informal settlements, to make sure that those communities who reside in those areas, they are aware that if something happens, what to do. But also to the motorists, we do work with the media and then issue the early warning system and then precaution measures in terms of what you need to do if actually we are being find ourselves in the situation where there's flood around you. But also we have volunteers in the communities as well. So we are prepared most of the time when you're approaching the summer season. And then unfortunately, if we work with people, and they will always take some chances, but we always insist that they must not do that. That's why we work with the SAPS, we work with the metropolis.
It was quite a vast area that was flooded this time round.
Yes,
yeah. Were you thinly spread in terms of getting help to people in those areas, or did you find that the numbers that you had deployed were able to cope with the level of disaster?
Yeah, we know the hotspots, and then we have done the assessment, we have identified the hotspots. So each and every time when we are approaching summer season, or we get early warning system from South Africa Weather Services to say we are going to get a heavy rain during this downfall, and then we do deploy our resources in those hotspots so that when something happens, we can speedily respond.
In terms of the funding for a project like
Yes.
this, how easy is it to get your hands on that money so you can get people rehoused and things back to normal on the roads and in suburbs as quickly as possible?
Always, because we work with the municipalities, sometimes these roads are not damaged. It's just a matter of flash floods end up this road being flooded. But sometimes then after some couple of hours, then the water subsides, and then we can use the road. So the damaged roads, we work with the stakeholders so that they can repair those damaged roads.
You know, one of the most worrying things is that people often return to the site of damaged areas where they had lived before. So areas that have suffered flood damage. For example, many people tend to move back to the Yixke River, to the banks of the Yixke, after they have recovered from this kind of disaster. Have you been successful in ensuring that those individuals are moved to higher ground, are staying in the long term in safer places so that they're not affected by these floods?
Yes, our approach actually, it has been very successful, but unfortunately in other areas, people, they would deliberately go to those low-lying areas and reside with the hoping that if we remove them, then they will qualify for the housing. And then for us, whatever we see a place which is a risk or a low-lying area, we remove people there and then we fence the area so the people, they don't go back. But example which we just use right now, like in Alex, and we have relocated some of the people there. But unfortunately, some people, they've gone back with the hope that if we remove them again, they will qualify for for houses. But unfortunately, we don't work like that. Once we relocate you, we always urge the community to stay there until we engage human settlement and we can find alternative accommodation.
All right, thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate your time this evening, Dr. Elias Sithole. He is from Disaster Management.